Hi everyone, Sean here from the Sci-Fi Model Guy, and greetings to you from fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm here visiting my mom for a couple of weeks and putting together this third chapter of the Runabout from Deep Space Nine for you. A lot of cool stuff in this video, everyone. We're going to be assembling the model, doing a lot of the lighting, painting some of the nacelles, and going over a lot of cool little techniques that were used in making the model. I don't have it here, obviously, because I'm traveling, but hopefully that you will enjoy this video. That's it, everyone. The only notes here, hashtag Enterprise. Remember, we are currently at 961 subscribers. So close, everyone. We are so close. We only need 39 more to hit that magic number of 1,000 to get that model of the Enterprise out to some lucky winner. So hashtag Enterprise in the comments to enter for that. And with that, we're going to get back to editing this video, publishing it, and then I'm going to be enjoying Las Vegas. So have a good one, everyone. See you soon. Hello everyone. Okay, so I'm going to give this another shot here. Been trying to record the painting of these grills here for the nacelle. We've got about a 50-50 mixture of the Tamiya X23, which is the clear blue, and the Tamiya X20A right here in the cup. And the cup's about halfway full, and I think that's going to be enough for the nacelle. So we're good to go. We're at about 15 or 16 psi, and I'm just going to go very light on this. I think this is going to turn out pretty good. So we are doing the grills first because that's deeper into the piece here. So anytime you're going to be doing this, think of it in layers. That, you know, what's the bottom layer? You do that one first, and then you move up from there. So when this is done and it's all dried, we'll mask it, and then this little blue overspray that we're getting on there will be covered by the base color. So I'm going very easy on this thing. I'm not pulling back, so I'm pulling back about this much when I could actually go all the way. So it's very, very controlled. And it's going on extremely thin, so it dries relatively fast. So there we go. That looks pretty good. So let's flip it over. You have to forgive all the noise. I do have my the mini split is going on in the background because it is gosh blasted hot in here. I had to crank that thing down just to get the garage to start to cool off. It's right now it's probably about 12:30 in the morning. Got off my night shift job, and so I'm coming out here. So it's been cooking out here all day. It's been about 95 degrees with pretty decent humidity. And I just had this mini split worked on today. It wasn't working. Turned out it was kind of a bad install a couple of years ago, and finally the thing that was wrong with it finally gave. But good news is the repair and the reinstallation of it was free. So that's, oh, hear that fly again. So maybe I can show you this little guy. See him? There he is. This thing's been buzzing my face. I've had to restart this video about 4 times because of that thing. So I'm trying to get him. Maybe I need the chopsticks like Mr. Miyagi. So anyway, that's pretty much it. I'll stop the recording here because this fly is getting a little bit upset with me because I tried to get him. And yeah, he's buzzing around. Anyway, folks, yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna go and take this over to the fan and have that blow on it for a little while. Just get it dry, give it a good second coat, maybe a third, and I'll start on this one. And then when this is all done and dry, tomorrow I will mask this off with some masking tape. I'll cut it to shape, pluck that in there, and then we'll paint the rest of this with the light blue spray color that we've been talking about. And then also, real quick, in this painting session, anyway, I won't record, but here are the Bussard collectors. I'm just going to leave them on these alligator clips, and we'll paint these the clear red. Again, they've been diffused with the white, and I did forget to mention this before. These have been scuffed down with the steel wool. Now, we have talked a lot about, I don't like to use the steel wool because it leaves the deposits all over the place. But for these clear parts, there's nothing better than that steel wool. It gets a really nice scuff on there, and that diffuses the light really well. So we scuffed it on the outside, and then we painted it with just a base white primer on the inside to do some light diffusing. So this will be painted in clear red, and it should look really good. I'm not going to film that, but that's going to be taken care of in this session if I can get this darn fly. So, all right, folks, we'll see you in a second. Okay, everyone, so the first coats of the blue for the nacelles are complete. Now, it does look really nice here. It looks all complete, but when I lit them up, it was a little bit light, especially down here toward the edges. So we're going to have to come through with another probably 2 coats of that. But it occurred to me, this is a good opportunity to talk about this. So right here in this area here, these little ridges, okay, and you can see here we do need to sand this down, and we need to get these seam lines corrected. They're pretty clunky. But specifically these little bits there that are ridged. Now, things like this, especially even in the 650 Enterprise model, there's these ribbed things at the front of the nacelles. Now, anytime you get a piece like this where there's a lot of contours, a lot of texture where the pieces meet, you're bound to get a lot of light leak. So I'm going to demonstrate that real quick here. So we've got the trusty flashlight here, and you can see right there we go, there's a good angle. See that light leak coming through? Okay, so that's pretty bad. Now, essentially through the light, actually this looks pretty good right here. Now on the camera this blue looks really great, but naked eye I can see some spots that we need to touch up. Anyway, yeah, it looks pretty cool. But yeah, you see here there aren't any apparent light leaks here, which is really good. But we're still going to sand this down. We're going to try and eliminate these seam lines there. These are real chunky. Don't like them so much. Right here, there's a lot of work we have to do. Anyway, digress here. So there you go again. So right here, there's some light leaks right there. Now, what I want to say here is for putty work on something like this, the first instinct is putty on the outside, but we don't need to do that right now because we actually can get in here. Let me get the flashlight. We can get in here, and you can see I can see the same light leak from the other side there. You see, like that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to get our putty palette knife, and we're going to put the putty inside there. So right at those ribbed areas, which I'm so sorry about the focus there and everything. So right there in that ribbed area, that's where those light leaks are coming through, and a little bit in front of it, so you can see that. So we're going to smudge putty all in here on that part, and we're going to paint it black. We're going to light block it with some black paint with a brush. We can be really, really sloppy with that because it's not exposed, and that way you don't have to worry about putting the ribbed part here and losing all this detail. So now, of course, we might want to sand it down. Might get the little needle file and sand that down a little bit, and here as well. Again, this is for me, this ship, but this is some good opportunity to practice fine detail seam work right here. So we got a little bit there, a little bit there, and that's probably the one part of this kit that I'm a little bit disappointed in as far as the quality. These nacelles did not fit together very well. I will say this though, there's very minimal light leak coming in through the front of the nacelles, like right here. There is a little bit of a gap there. So like when we turn on the light, maybe I can get this to show. You can kind of see it there if I can get this to focus for you. So there's a little bit of a light leak right there at the front, right here. You can kind of see that. There's really nothing I can do about that because these things are glued from the inside. And frankly, I am pretty impressed with how flush these were. I think the decision to paint these after installation was the right one. So this is a really good learning experience. So any future Enterprise models I do with the Enterprise C or the Enterprise D, which little sneak peek there, I did get 2 of them. AMT released the 1400 scale Enterprise D clear model again, which I had been waiting years for, so I'm glad that they have it. So we'll be doing that kit sometime soon. So, all right, folks, so a little bit of a learning experience here for me. Hopefully it is for you as well. We're going to let this dry overnight. I'm going to come back tomorrow and put another couple coats of the clear blue. And then after that, we'll do our best to get rid of these seams here. Do a little bit of putty work, and then we'll go ahead and paint it with a light blue. And hopefully we'll get these nacelles looking really nice and snazzy. And I will have a little update on the Bussard collectors coming up shortly. So stay tuned. We are almost done painting these nacelles. Now, we'll get to that a little bit later. They look really good here. The initial layer was the clear blue, the Tamiya, and then it just wasn't dark enough for my taste, so I went with a Tamiya light metallic blue. That ran out, and then I did a Tamiya metallic blue, just regular. Now, this has gotten a couple of coats, and as you'll see later, I'm not doing it now, but these grooves here, it just makes it really hard for this paint to go in. There's still some white spots on there. It's kind of frustrating, to be honest. So I think the next time that I do a kit like this, I'm going to experiment probably with I'll do it like on an Enterprise C build. In fact, I might just open up one of those kits and just do the nacelle and do some testing. I think what I'm going to do is paint the blue on the inside next time. Every build I've seen looks like people paint the outside of these grills, but I think probably the inside is going to be the most consistent because it's a flat surface. So that way the paint will adhere to it a lot more evenly. So we're going to give that a shot. I might not even do the Tamiya clear blue. We might just go with the metallic blue and see how that pans out. I think it should be fine. But again, like this kit here, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm using this one kind of as a learning opportunity, but also because it's cool. I mean, yeah, it's an old kit, and I should do it correct, and I am, but I think this is a good opportunity to test some stuff. So anyway, I'm just yammering on I'm just masking this. We're going to talk about that in a second. So anyway, but yeah, so I've tried a couple masking techniques. So what you just saw me do was just put on some of this flexible tape. I think it's 1/4 inch or something, but it took two strips there, and it keeps going out of focus. So I'm sorry about that. And you can see here there's a little bit left over there and a little bit left over here in the corner, and the same over here. Now, I had masked this one previously with this yellow tape here. And this has got that backing that you have to peel off. That didn't turn out too well. As you can see there, it's a little chunky. In fact, I need to come through and clean that up a little. Oh, no, it's okay. Maybe it's just this part. So, yeah, so the reason this part's being recorded because I want to show you, and pardon my voice, I don't have the microphone plugged in right now. So this is another application for this dental pick. I bought a new set of these things. My other one of the edges had blown out, so I bought a set that has some different shapes to it. So this one has kind of like a little bit of a hook. It's pretty sharp. And then there's this one. So this is super cool. You can use this to peel the backing tape off of this tape, for instance. You can get into things. You can scrape stuff out. And then also with, like we've talked about, use this rounded part. And you can go through here and, make the tape form into tight spaces and curves and stuff. So it's really, really a great tool. I can't stress enough how good it is to have that. So as you can see here, there's a little bit of, it looks like glue. Now that is the liquid mask. So that's one of the reasons this part's being recorded here. So this nacelle, I learned a little bit of lessons from the last nacelle. So Okay, should be coming out now. There it goes. So this is, again, we've talked about this tool or this method of applying the mask, and it is fabulous, you guys. So definitely recommend picking up some of these bottles if you can. They're pretty inexpensive. So we're going to turn this around. We're going to do that. Sorry about that. I'm trying to focus on the piece and make sure it's in the camera for you. So here we go. Again, the difficult part was just getting this stuff into this little bottle. It'd be nice if they would sell this stuff in little applicators like this, because it's really good. You can really get in to these corners. There we go. As you can see there, it comes out nice and slow. It fills right in there. Okay, now to the back end. All right. Okay, we're going to let that dry, and this stuff does dry to clear, so you'll know when it's done is when you can see through it. And it generally dries from the inside out. Now, if you're going to do it like this, you just want to be careful. You know, when you set it down like flat, you know, it might run down. You can kind of see it trying to do that. So let me get here. There we go. All right. Well, yeah, again, like I said, we're going to let these things dry here. And then when that's done, we'll be able to paint these nacelles with our light blue. And then from there, we'll be able to attach them to the engines and get that thing put together. So we'll see you very shortly. Hey everyone, okay, so sorry that I do not have the microphone plugged in here. It's in another room. So just going to go over the setup, how we have it right now. So we're going to remove these little plates here. We've got the nacelles installed. The lighting has been tested, and everything's good so far. So here's the wiring there. We've got, as we talked about, there's a light here that illuminates the intake, and then there's a set of 3 lights back here that illuminate the exhaust, and everything's secured in here as far as electrical tape. I had to put some electrical tape because we had to put the wires in from the nacelles in through here, and then they all connect here, and then the wires go through this little piece there on either side of the ship down into here. Now we do have to do one more bit of wiring, and that is for the sensor array here. So that, let me zoom out again here. I'm probably a little premature there. So just fitting these things on here. Whoops. So what I did was I took the sensor array thing and I laid it down where it's going to go. So I made that decision. It is kind of wonky and slips around a little bit. So I decided to put it, there's these little 3 ridges here. And if I don't bend it or I don't do anything, these things kind of lay on the ridge, and that doesn't give a very secure connection. It doesn't fit flush. So I decided that I'm going to glue on this flat part. So there's this, it's really kind of hard to see here. Let me see if we can bring it up. So there's these ridges here. You can see that. And then there's this flat part. So you can see where right here, we've scraped away some of the paint so that we can get a nice connection on there. And which reminds me, I gotta scrape the paint off of that. So, and then right here, I marked where the wire was. So it's kind of hard to explain. So if I hold it this way, this is where it's connecting. And so here's where the wire comes out, and I just drilled a little hole right there. So what we'll be doing, we'll just be feeding this through. We're going to have to feed this through the hole here. And then, so we drilled that hole, and there's another hole here that continues through there. So that's going to be a tricky part. So what we're going to have to do is kind of feed. What I should do is make these equal length, but so we're going to feed this through this way. There's no real easy way to do this. So what we've got to do, we've got to feed this through the hole. Okay, so I had to do a little stop there and finagle with this wire. So here we are. It's kind of connected in through here, and I just put a little piece of electrical tape to hold this down, at least enough to get me to get it through this hole. It was just being a little bit stubborn. So what we're going to do is we are going to kind of assemble this this way. So this sensor array here is loosely connected through the holes there where we need to do. So we'll be taking this and we'll be gluing it up here. All the paint's been scraped off, and then we'll gently lift it over and tack this part down there and hold it, and then we'll just let the sensor array sit, let everything dry, and then we'll secure that. So before we do that, though, this side here needs to be secured. So we'll carefully rotate everything so it's not going anywhere. And we're going to, so there's no wires coming through here, so we can glue this part down. We'll get this in. Okay. Just want to make sure that I should have looked here first. All right. So there's going to be some glue here. Along the sides. I always kind of get a little bit nervous when it's time to glue something, I guess because it's such a permanent thing that you're doing. We're just going to put plenty of glue here. Okay. All right. So this is on. I'm just going to hold this here for a couple minutes. Okay, everyone. So, yeah, thought this was going to be easier than it was, but eventually was able to get that wire in here and secure these. So I'm not sure how much is going to be cut out of the previous section that was recorded, but essentially, so we drilled these holes right here, through here, and then through the main assembly, fed the wire through, and then taped everything down enough to be able to glue these parts on. So these parts are glued on. That took quite a bit of time to, set the cement on there, and I had to hold it because of these weird shapes. And I kind of had to apply a little pressure and just hold it for a couple minutes to allow that glue to grab, or the cement. In doing so, it turned out that one of these nacelles, it's this one over here, I think, the starboard side, was not glued on properly. Something got a little bit messed up. So anyway, the nacelle kind of peeled off. So I guess that glue hadn't dried sufficiently for me to be messing around with this. I guess I was just in a little bit too much of a hurry. So that peeled off, had to put a little bit more cement on there, re-secure it and get that settled down. And then, of course, as that was happening, when you get this model cement here on stuff with paint, it will smear the paint and everything. So I had a lot of smudges and everything. I'm going to have a lot of cleanup to do over here. Anyway, lesson learned. I should have waited a little bit longer than I did, but that's okay. So this is all drying right now, and then I'm really glad that I thought of this, because I was going to start, thinking about gluing these things down later on, maybe in an hour or two when these things dry, and then it occurred to me, once this assembly is over here where it's supposed to be, we're not going to have an opportunity to paint this part. So what I've done here is I've just taped this down so it doesn't flop around. I don't want the wire coming out, because it would be really difficult to feed it through again. So I've taped that down. I'll tape the wire on the other side as well later on, so it won't pop out. And then we're going to paint the top of this. So we'll paint this part the light blue. Even though this thing is going to be over this part, I'll do a little bit of detail work in here. We'll get this done and get that kind of finalized, at least this part. Whoops, this part up here. When that's all painted and ready to go, detailed, then we will secure the sensor array here to these parts there that we've scraped off, and that will probably in a day or so will give this glue time to really set and cure, so we can kind of push really hard on this thing. And then from there, what we'll do is we'll paint the entire ship here, and then we will get the wires through and then put the windows in and all that. So the windows are going to go in last, and then this thing here, this is the bottom of the ship, this will be the last piece that we glue on there, feed the wires through, and it'll be set. So it is pretty simple. I just made a couple little mistakes from trying to rush this thing, but always learning, and we're always making mistakes as well. So that was the mistake on this one, but nothing that we can't fix. So all right, everyone, stand by. It could be the next video, or it could be the next section. If it's the next section, we'll see you in a minute. If it's the next video, we'll see you next week. Stand by.